SAI Service Marketing Podcast, where we shower you weekly with actionable marketing strategies for your business. In today's episode, we'll be talking about how to get the best customers and flip the 80-20 principle, making 80% of your customers great instead of just 20.
What's going on, everybody? It's Brian Chunk. Welcome to the SAI Service Marketing Podcast. It is a wonderful, will be September 28th. We're filming this on the 27th. And today we are going to talk about the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. The way I like to look at it is 80% of your headaches come from 20% of your clients. So what if you could little fact flip that and basically focus on the 20% and then broom the other 80, right? So we're going to talk about that. This is important because the economy right now seemingly is slowing down a little bit. That doesn't mean my business is slowing down, and it's no ego. If we were getting tremendously slow, I would own, hey, oh yeah, we're slow, blah, blah, blah. The amount of the estimates that our intake here is down a little. I would say it's down maybe 20%, maybe 25%. Closing is maybe a little bit higher, and our job flow or our calendar, which I've showed on our last video on the wall as I look over to it off camera, you're not gonna be able to see what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at some specter, is full. We are fit for battle, the usual 2-3 weeks out. So, and good jobs coming in. I mean, fatties, big fat whales, the kind of stuff we love and the kind of clients we love for the most part. So yeah. So the 80-20, I think this is going to be important, and this episode is going to be beneficial for a lot of you guys. So I hope you stay to the end. We're going to go through listener mailbag. I've got 2 examples that came in, so we'll talk about that, and that's pretty much it. And then whoopie-doo, I get to go to a funeral after this, which. Oh my gosh, my painter, Jeff, our body shop manager's at a funeral today, so he's off. And then my buddy's having his 60th birthday tonight, so we get to go from the lowest lows to some of the highest highs, celebrating. I mean, that's what life's about, right? The life and death. So anyway, I will spare you the details, however, of the funeral individual, because it's kind of a sad story. One of our former clients. True. So let's get into listener mailbag, shall we? All right, Josue from Dallas. He has a PDR business. Very good, Josue. You're in probably one of the best places in the world to be doing PDR. He says, I'm not getting enough business, too much competition. Everyone is whoring small dents. That's a term that we use in the paintless dent repair industry. I mean, it's a little kind of brutal term if you think about it, but whoring basically means is everybody's just giving out their work for free or very low price, right? So he wants to know what to do. So Josue, aka Josh, thank you for writing in. So let's get at this. I have some experience, both sides of it. What I've done to deal with the whoring here in SoCal is I've given those jobs away. I write them. I still write them fat. I had probably 2 or 3 last week. I don't get all my jobs. I mean, we only close we probably close 50 to 60%. And on the small jobs, I might close 30 to 40%. In Dallas, I empathize with you, Josue, because there's a lot more competition out there because of hail. There's a lot more money opportunity. Therefore, a lot of guys have figured out, hey, I can make millions a year, working 6 months a year, or make $500,000 working 6 months. I mean, that's very viable. $1 million, you're probably working 9-12 months, and probably not just in Dallas, but I've seen it done. So I have former students that have done it. So it's like, hey, guess what? So yes, Josh, I kind of let go of the small jobs. And the way I do that is I price them out. So, and I'll tell you right now, the elephant in the room for you is I wouldn't even do small dents. I wouldn't do retail. I would only do insurance, hail. But you didn't ask about that. So I'm going to assume that that's not the direction you want to go in, or you're trying to do it all. So we won't bring up hail. But like I said, if that was me, which I've done, when I'm doing hail, people come in with Dohertys and stuff, I tell them, get the fuck out of here. I do. I kind of, not exactly that, but metaphorically, I am trying to shoo them out. If they're doing hail and they got a Doherty, absolutely. But they want a Doherty estimate? No. Sorry. This is hail repair only. This is AKA average $5,000 per client and up. Oh, you want an $800 dent done? GTFO. So price those jobs accordingly. And what I would do, Josh, is I would level up. I would go to the mid to the large size jobs. And hopefully you can do that. You didn't talk about how much skills you've got. And if you're kind of new and you've got to just do small jobs, then guess what? Maybe you're doing $75 dents. You know, I lost a Rivian dent that I quoted $1,200, the size of a football, which I still think was a pretty good price. And I guarantee he found somebody else, or he's not doing it. I didn't follow up with him. But so I lose large jobs too. And I mean, there's ways to close jobs. If somebody starts leading with price, if you keep hearing, hey, it's not big, you know, this should just pop out, this looks easy. Those people are telling you something. They're actually telling you, I'm cheap. I don't want to spend. And they don't understand what PDR is. So, and the tough thing is, Josh, is trying to sell people or trying to educate people, they think you're selling them. So having that conversation of education is a fine line. So don't do a lot of educating or definitely selling. But if you can explain that you're going to guarantee what you do and it's going to come out flawless, hopefully, then you should be able to close some of the small jobs. I had probably, like I said, 3 or 4 small jobs this week, which imagine if that was all I had. I mean, I'd be starving. I mean, we do a lot of bigger stuff. So you'll thin the competition by going to the big stuff is what I'm basically saying. All right. And that way, you know, they're going to be comparing those jobs to body shops. So they're going to look at price, they're going to look at speed, and you're going to be beating them, maybe, definitely on speed and definitely on quality. So price, maybe not. Some people ask me, well, why is PDR more than bodywork sometimes? And I explain to them, and then they get it. So there it is. Josh, appreciate you writing in. If I could help you out further, let me know. But just level up. Go to the mid and the large size jobs. Leave the small stuff. Quote them still $300-$400 and up. And if they go to the cheap, you know, whores, so be it. Who cares? All right. So Lorelei, office cleaner in the District of Columbia, DC. Brian, thanks. Love the show. I want to raise my prices, but I'm scared. And that's how she spelled it. SCURRED. All right, Lorelei. I know what you mean by scared. You're scared. Boo. This is common. This is very common. Many service businesses don't feel confident about themselves and they just go too cheap, right? So look at what you've done. In other words, I'm trying to build you up right now. Look at what you've done, your book of business, your history, how happy your clients are, your capabilities. You know this, right? So know that and take stock in that. And then once you've regrouped and you come back to the table, then what I would do is, and your timing is perfect. I'll tell you that, Lorelei, because we're almost at the end of the year and people expect price raises at January 1. Now here's the elephant. There's another elephant in the room in this room, not just Josh's room or Josue's room. The economy is kind of crappy right now. I truly believe, like I said, our business is killing it. We literally aren't down financially, but I survey people, I talk to people out of state, I talk to local businesses. A lot of people say the same thing. And I think we just lowered our interest rate, right? The Fed rate. I mean, when that happens, that usually means the economy is slowing down or they're trying to kind of spur it up a little bit. So all indicators, right? But that's opportunity. And as long as you see that, you can act accordingly and make more money. So you're going to love this episode, by the way, Lorelei, because we're focusing on the 80-20 Pareto principle, where you're going to focus on the best 20% instead of servicing the other 80. And that's going to help you with your cleaning business out in DC make more money. So I recommend to roll this in. I'm going to roll this up. Raise your prices and or offer 2 to 3 tier options come the first of the year. Let people know, November 1, hey, or December 1, hey, appreciate everybody. Cost of living, blah, 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 supplies, cleaners, this and that. We're going to be raising our prices or we've got some new tiers. No one's going to question you doing it at the beginning of the year. I'd plan now. It's perfect time right now, end of September. Get ready to ramp it up. December 1, hey, everybody, it's good to see you, blah, blah, blah. Here's some gifts for my best clients. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna ram you guys for some more money. If you lose some of your cheap clients, bring in more premier clients. Who cares, That's what I say. All right, let's get after this episode. I'm gonna switch my screen here right now. The 80-20 principle. What if you could flip that ratio and work with only your top 20% instead of the crappy 80%? All right. I'll tell you right now, I had a client this week, nice Porsche. We probably had 4 or 5 Porsches that day. It was like Porsche day. We did a nice pan shot with the cameras for social media. And we, as always, we went extra on this car. And instead of this customer being super happy with what we did, he was asking why we didn't do other stuff that wasn't even on the list. Almost kind of like, why didn't you restore my car? Some people are just kind of wired that way. They're either negative or maybe they're trying to get a better deal. So they're going to go try to nitpick to try to beat you down. And it was unfortunate. You want to focus on your clients that are going to spend the most money and have the highest satisfaction. Our Porsche guy, he was a tough one. He was a tough one. And there's a way to filter these people out, guys. So let's get into it. Let's get into the 80-20. Okay, you want the best clients. You want the clients that are going to spend the most money, be the less headache, and have the most happiness based upon the service that you offer. You want to make the most money, that's revenue, and you want to have the least amount of stress. Okay, flip side, you're chasing the wrong customers. What's that going to do? It's going to waste your time. It's going to aggravate you. You're going to have more stress, right? You're going to have a lower profit. Your teams are going to get burned out, and you're blocking premium buyers because you don't have enough time. Right? Especially with this economy. Now here, Lorelei, the one who wrote in from DC, this is for you as well as others if you'll share. But I think filtering clients early is critical especially when resources are limited. And resources means money and time primarily, but it also could be staff or whatever else. So here's what you do, guys. Here is the framework. I don't know if I can add this to the screen, but I'm gonna hopefully add something that says, playbook. All right, so look at your last 6 to 12 months clients. Okay, look at the revenue, look at the profit, look at the ease of work, if you will, if you can remember that, or if you scorecard it, great, that's even better. And referrals from those clients. Rank by all the positive factors within those characters, right? And the ease, not just the revenue, right? Because I'm telling you right now, take it from old man Brian. Making money is important, but easy money, oh yeah. So, look for patterns, okay? The industry these people work, okay? Their zip code, their budget size. Maybe you ask them, hey, what's your budget for this job or this project or whatever, right? And they're just decision-making speed even. People don't think about that. How long did it take that person or that couple to book? Did they book immediately, book next day? They didn't book for a month. All these things go into choosing the best clients, and then you can actually filter for, basically bait the right fish, right? I love to talk about fishing in the right lakes, ponds, oceans, whatever, and how to catch the whales and, marlin and whatever, and you don't want to catch the guppies, right? The bluegill, the carp, throw those carp back. Anybody do fishing on this podcast? I didn't hear anything, so I guess that's a no. So you're going to profile your top 20%, right? Okay, write down what they drive, literally and metaphorically if you're doing a car business, right? Automotive business, where they live, what they value. It's the psychographics, okay? Do they want it done fast? Do they want it done right or luxury? Okay. Pinpoint their fears. Guys, write this down. Okay. Do they fear downtime? Do they fear risk, poor quality, looking cheap? How do you answer or prevent those questions? How do you preempt it? Okay. I'll tell you. I'm going to get into that in a second, into step 4. We're at step 2 right now. Step 3 is spot the red flags. Hey, I have a low budget, but I really have high expectations, which most people get that you're not going to want them. So they'll say, I don't need a perfect. That's somebody saying, I need a perfect and I'm on a budget, okay? At least in our automotive business. I broom them. I immediately retort right back. You know what? We only have one speed here and it's perfect. We work at the speed of perfect. So if you want it factory, great. If not, I'm not your guy. And that's okay. There's people out there that'll be willing to take your money and do half the job, for sure. They're out there. And then they realize they were just trying to bullshit you and just grind you down. And it didn't work. You didn't bite the hook. What if they ghost you? What if they delay a deposit if you're doing like hardscaping or something like that? That's bad. That's bad. That's a red flag, right? Price shoppers. What's your cheapest thing or what's the cheapest option? Blah, blah, blah. I get it. Some people are on budgets. And a lot of times the car brand will tell us. I get a lot of Mazdas. And some of the Mazda people will say, hey, you know what? I'm on a budget. So that's something to consider. And then even poor communication or timelines. Unrealistic timelines. Hey, can you get this done in an hour? Man, you just don't get it. You don't get it. You're not focusing on quality. You're focusing on speed, which is okay. Some people, their economic situation is so tight that they don't have the time to give away their car. I mean, we get people from Uber, or Lyft, and they come here and they want to fix their cars. And I see the sticker and I already know they're probably not going to be our customer. Number one, economically, they're in the wrong range, the wrong hierarchy. they're going to think that $600 for a bumper, that's what they make in a month maybe. They're like, oh my God. And then they need the car within an hour. I got to go out and start making my $100 a day, right? Build your filter. And then use FAQs. FAQs on your website or even in your text or communications. We don't cut corners, and AKA we don't cut prices. Have a pre-qual form or discovery conversation, right? Or text, 3 to 5 questions. What's your budget? What's the urgency? And what's the project scope? In other words, do you want it flawless? If they say, I need it done fast, I don't care about the quality, and I'm cheap, that's a customer for some people. It's not a question for me. It's not, those aren't answers for me, right? I don't want that. That's not for Brad. You could have this on your website. Like I said, these are filters, right? A lot of your graphics should be geared towards your ICP, your ideal client profile or persona. Your communication, filter. Your advertising, filter. Your website, filter. Okay, that way you're marketing to your top 20%, right? Show proof of quality in every ad, befores and afters, reviews, case studies, link to them. Place ads on the premium channels, guys, and here they are. You ready? Here's the gold. Google Maps, LinkedIn if you want to do it, because LinkedIn people typically are business people, and usually it's B2B, but you'll find people, if you can do it geographically, they're going to spend money, believe it or not. Even local magazines. Let's say you're in a country club magazine. You may not get a lot of jobs, but maybe you just get 1 or 2. What if you're going to do direct mail? Are you going to direct mail the ghetto, or are you going to direct mail the gated community up on the hill with 500 houses? It's common sense, right? Step 6, nurture and elevate. You want to give your best clients like a VIP treatment, okay? Think about the upscale client, what they want, what they'd appreciate. The aesthetic. They want priority scheduling. They want small thank you gifts or recognition. They want conversation. They want you to echo back what they're talking to you about, so they understand that they're heard, right? Little things, but big wins, right? Maybe early access to promotion. Give these clients the best experience you can, right? After you've given them the VIP treatment, you're going to be asking for referrals, because more than likely they know more people like them. Fish seem to swim with other like fish, right? And then I would do case studies or testimonials spotlighting these same clients to attract more of the same. If you show and amplify your best clients, you're going to catch more fish like that. And then you want to cut the bottom, right? Learn to say no politely, like I talked about early in the podcast about customers who want small damage done. I price it high, and that's kind of my way of saying no. I'm not going to be the cheap whore like Josue has been dealing with in Dallas, and occasionally I do, because there's guys in our industry that aren't very proficient, so they start at the bottom, and they're not very good, so they adjust their quality by price. And a lot of people don't understand that until it's too late. I try to sell. I keep saying sell. I try to educate people on the fact that if you want it flawless, sometimes good costs more. It's the same with food. If you want a really good meal, it's going to cost more than $1.99 at the dollar menu at the drive-thru. So, but a lot of people, they just think, oh, he's just selling me. Okay, all right, well, go find out. And then when you come back, and I have to paint your door now because the individual didn't have a lot of skills or no skills, but yet was cheap. It's tough. It's a tough game. People that really understand, they'll do research and their diligence, and even for a small dent or small job, they'll still pick the right client. So you say no to the ones that aren't your ideal client, and then what you do is that frees up time for your higher value jobs, which is going to increase your margin and drop your drama. Okay. What I basically encourage you guys to do is, you can come in, is to run this exercise this week. What I would do is I would go through all the steps we just talked about, modify your ads, modify your website, all your communications, jot down how you're going to target for that top 20 instead of the bottom 80, right? And then at that point, if you pick your top 5 clients and you reverse engineer and market around them, you're going to win. Okay. All right. That's it, guys. that's the 80-20. I hope that makes sense. I hope this is a benefit for all of you. I love you all. And yeah, we got another customer pulling up right now, so no more closing comments because this gold Lexus is about ready to roll in. And I wish you guys a fabulous rest of your weekend. Love you all. And we will catch you on the next SAI Service Marketing Podcast. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you for listening. If you need assistance with your business or digital marketing, reach out to us at 949-302-3464 or just DM us at DenkoPDR on Instagram.com.